Okay, y'all, Kandi just dropped a legal bombshell, and she's coming in hot with zero mercy. Fresh court documents just hit, and according to Kandi, her soon-to-be ex-husband Todd Tucker has completely checked out. Emotionally and financially, she's accusing him of not paying a single cent toward their children, while barely showing up in their lives since the divorce papers were filed. And the allegations? They're explosive. According to filings dated January 8th, Kandi says Todd hasn't contributed anything for their two kids, ACE age 10 and BLA age 7. And let's be clear, this is not pocket change. Parenting these children, live a luxury lifestyle. There's a full-time nanny, private tuition, activities, medical care, birthday celebrations, travel expenses, the kind of bills that stack fast, and Kandi claims she's been carrying all of it alone. What makes this hit harder is the timing. While these expenses keep piling up, Kandi says Todd has been jet-setting across multiple international vacations, so the money exists, just not when it comes to his kids' world travel. Funded child support? Suddenly invisible, and for Kandi that contradiction says everything. But this isn't only about dollars. Kandi is also alleging that Todd has barely spent time with the kids since she filed for divorce back in November. No presence, no consistency, no effort. And that's where the public image starts cracking, because online Todd tells a very different story. For years, since 2016, Todd has branded himself as Super Dad on Instagram. His famous daddy daycare reels show him cooking, doing school runs, laughing with the kids, performing fatherhood for the timeline. But according to Kandi, it's all smoke and mirrors. I checked the page myself. Only a couple recent videos remain, and Kandi says the reality behind the scenes doesn't match the highlight reel. Then came Christmas, and that's when things really spiraled. Kandi says Todd tried to interfere with her court-approved custody time during the holiday break. She had planned to take the kids to New York to visit her family. Everything was scheduled, everything was paid for, and she says Todd knew well in advance, but still tried to shut it down at the last minute. According to Kandi, Todd didn't want the kids traveling at all, despite the plans already being locked, and that move pushed this conflict from messy to unmanageable. Now Kandi is asking the court to step in, establish a formal custody schedule, and finally put child support in writing, because whatever this is, it's clearly not working. For context, Kandi filed for divorce in November 2024. Initially, she requested joint custody, fair, balanced, cooperative, but then Todd flipped the entire narrative and filed for sole custody, claiming the kids primarily stayed with him while Kandi was away performing in a Broadway show in New York. And if you ask me, that smells less like concern and more like a money play. Once Todd made that move, Kandi shifted her stance and requested primary custody, and the situation feels even darker when you remember the history. People have questioned Todd's intentions since day one. Since they met back in 2011 on Real Housewives, married in 2014, and built a very public life together. Now that carefully curated image is collapsing under the weight of court filings, conflicting stories, and a custody war that's getting uglier by the day. From the very beginning, people were side-eyeing this relationship. Kandi's net worth sits around $30 million. She earns music royalties, Bravo checks from Real Housewives, owns restaurants, and runs multiple businesses. The money is flowing from every direction. Meanwhile, Todd's net worth tells a very different story. Estimates range anywhere from $400,000 to maybe $4 million at best. That imbalance is exactly why a prenup existed, and yes, Todd signed it, but the wedding nearly didn't happen because he fought signing that prenup every step of the way. Eventually, he gave in, or at least that's how it looked back then. Fast forward to now, and suddenly Todd wants the prenup thrown out, claiming he was pressured into signing right before their 2014 wedding without his lawyers present, even though negotiations had already happened between both legal teams. Now he's arguing the circumstances make the agreement questionable and possibly unenforceable, and if that prenup disappears, Todd is demanding alimony and a 50-50 split of marital assets. But Kandi came prepared. She fired back with an amended response, and the evidence is wild. She pointed directly to footage from their Bravo wedding special, Kandi's wedding, showing Todd on camera confirming he spoke to his lawyers and was comfortable signing the prenup. Reality TV is now being used as courtroom proof that he signed willingly. What makes this sting even more is the history. For years, Kandi defended Todd fiercely. Anytime people accused him of using her, she shut it down. She rode for him publicly, privately, 100%. But now they're standing on opposite sides of a courtroom, and Kandi is accusing him of not supporting his own children emotionally or financially. After all that loyalty, this is where they've landed, and at this point it's clear Todd isn't planning to make this divorce smooth or quiet. This is turning bitter, strategic, and ugly fast. So what do you think about Kandi coming forward and saying Todd hasn't been stepping up since the divorce filing? Drop your thoughts in the comments. That's all for now. I'll catch you next time.
I'm back with another opinion. Y'all might not like it, but let's talk about it. So this whole Kandi and Todd situation is getting out of hand. I did not expect us to be where we are now. So Kandi basically filed a motion or whatever, allegedly, with the court, saying that Todd is not the dad he appears to be. Todd is a social media dad. Social media dad's like, come here, kids, take this picture. Okay, once the picture is gone, y'all get up on my face. Kandi has said that she is the one taking care of the kids, financially, and Todd is not contributing to anything, and he's going on all these vacations. Now, if you go back and look, you'll see when the divorce first occurred, you saw Todd going on vacation after vacation after vacation, right? I'm not going to put him down because that might have been his way of coping, right? My thing is, I don't even know how I love Kandi, but you always saw Todd with them kids. Like, he was always with the kids, and he was also with Kandi all the time. So maybe he deserved a vacation. I don't care if nobody says when you travel to work, sometimes it is a vacation. But let's get back to the story. I am personally so surprised at the situation, but we all kind of, I'm not gonna say we saw it coming, because I did not. What I will say is I have been watching Kandi. Kandi went on Amazon, and she was saying, or whatever she was, and she was saying, like, basically Todd wanted to take the kids with him for the break, right? For the holiday break. And Kandi basically, to me now, she made it seem like she invited herself on the trip, because she said Todd wanted to take the kids. And in my opinion, that was basically him saying, I want to take the kids, I don't really want you to come. And she was, I guess we all gonna go together, right? When somebody says, I guess we're all gonna go together, that means that you are volunteering yourself to go somewhere you weren't invited. I feel like Todd is not a social, I just don't feel like Todd is a social media dad based off what we saw online. He was taking these kids to school when we knew Kandi was going elsewhere to make money. So let's not act like Todd is a deadbeat, because I don't think he's a deadbeat, okay? Maybe now that this divorce is going on, Kandi is like a little bit more at home, and she's realizing, like, when I'm at home, Todd's not at home. But in my opinion, I feel like Todd is the one who wanted the divorce. And I could be so wrong, but I feel like he is the one who wanted the divorce, because if you go back and look at previous seasons of Real Housewives of Atlanta, Todd was just asking Kandi to stay home, you know, put a little more time into the kids, into him. And Kandi just seemed like she had so many barriers to why she could not do that. I don't know, y'all. I have much more to say about that, but that's all I'm gonna say right now. But I am still gonna hope that Kandi and Todd work it out.
So I haven't been paying attention to Kandi Burruss' divorce, but today I just decided to kind of like update myself on what's going on. And I'm honestly shocked about what's happening with Kandi Burruss. Well, actually, I wouldn't say I'm fully shocked, because to be honest with you, her mother tried to warn her, and I always say you kind of have to pay attention to what your mom tells you, or the warnings they give you, because they generally can see things in people around you that you really don't pay attention to, or you don't notice. But seeing now that this divorce has become pretty messy, and that he is contesting the prenup, I'm really not shocked. And y'all, honestly, one of the worst things that somebody could do when issuing a prenup is to issue it right before the wedding without attorneys being able to kind of decide back and forth. I think a lot of times people kind of do this like guerrilla type of approach to issuing prenups, to kind of make the person sign and not have to go back and forth and do all this negotiating. But to be honest with you, you put yourself in a position where your prenup can be thrown out, especially given the fact that he said, even during filming the episode that they filmed about their wedding, that he didn't really have a chance to like have his attorney look at it. But, you know, he tried to act like, oh, it's all good, whatever, because, you know, he just wants to go ahead and get married to her. I really think that he expected the marriage to elevate him. And while I do think in some ways it did shine a light on him, it really didn't elevate him all that much. It kind of just turned him into a sidekick for Kandi. And you could tell that, especially in recent years, him being a sidekick for Kandi started to become very emasculating to him, and he started to resent her like a lot. And y'all, I really think that he thinks that whatever he did in being just her partner actually helped in her success. And the thing is, I think the public, and including myself, we all kind of know that Kandi would have been successful regardless of who she was with. Like, let's be real, she was the breakout success technically in her group, and doing that from a girl group is not easy at all. So the fact that she was able to do that even before ever meeting Todd, and she's already a housewife, like, I don't know why he expected that we would ever give him credit for any of her success, because like Todd, you came into the situation with Kandi already being a success. So at this point, I kind of feel sorry for Kandi. And honestly, I don't know, like, I feel like, while I personally hope what I think is not the case, and I hope that everything turns out, you know, as Kandi wants it to, I really, my heart to heart feel like the prenup's gonna get thrown out. Or if not that, even some of his demands are gonna be met, because Georgia's pretty unforgiving when it comes to like women in divorces. Again, y'all remember, Georgia's the state where Usher was able to take his children from, their mother. That state, I just feel like it's very unforgiving to women. So I hope Kandi has a good attorney, obviously, which I'm sure she does. But also, I hope Kandi, I hope the best for Kandi. I really do. Like, I don't see how she's gonna be able to get both the prenup upstanded and full custody of the children, given the fact that, like, literally right now she's in another state. She's in New York working. She works a lot in New York. Despite the fact that there's a nanny, generally courts like when the child's with one of the biological parents. So just from the fact that, you know, Todd's able to be home more often, he would seem like the more stable parent for having the kids, like, for full-time custody, just because he's just home more. Like, I don't know. It's like, I hope the best for her. Like, this is gonna suck.